SNP's John Swinney wants the next fight to be about independence between now and possibly around 2028. One number which likely stops his argument in its tracks is Scotland's latest official fiscal deficit at about £26.5 billion. 11.7% of GDP, more than twice the UK figure. If one excludes offshore revenues, the gap gets closer to 14.3%. Thus, and against all public statements made over the last few weeks, the question where Scotland's border sits hardly appears relevant. What does is whether Scotland is using all of the powers it already has. At the risk of sounding borderline unionists, to us it sounds more of a balance sheet problem. Scotland now runs 6 income tax bands compared with 3 in the rest of Britain. In 2026 to 27, the advanced rate is 45%, above £75,000. The top rate is 48%, above £125,140. That raises some money, but official forecasters and the IFS have warned behavioural effects may eat into the yield. For a country trying to attract skilled workers, that should matter. The deeper constraint has been growth. Scottish onshore output is forecasted to grow barely above 1% this year. Assuming Scotland still treats productivity as a prize, their own estimates state that matching the OECD's top quartile could lift annual wages by almost £3,850, roughly 10%, while its demography moves the other way. National Records of Scotland projects the population to start falling from the mid-2030s, while the over 75 group keeps rising. Even Scotland's strongest card, energy, tells a warning story. Renewables generated the equivalent of 113% of Scotland's electricity consumption in 2022. Yet STUC-commissioned research found Scotland had 0 significant offshore wind fabrication sites against 19 needed for ScotWind's promised supply chain. So here are a few suggestions, maybe alternative in character. What if taxes are reviewed for yield and not symbolism? Try making wind consents capture Scottish manufacturing. How about treating skilled migration as fiscal policy? And finally, turn Scotland's 108 FDI projects in 2025 into deeper capital commitments. Scotland's independence may return someday, while Westminster is bound to keep saying no. One thing is clear: Scotland does not need permission to grow faster, especially when every form of competitiveness is available to it now. It needs the discipline to choose that fight first, before the constitutional clock runs down.